The women won their fourth World Cup last month, but earned less than a quarter of what the U.S. men's team would have been paid for the same feat. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
The lawsuit also highlights pay discrepancy at the World Cup, alleging that the pay was so skewed that when the men's team lost in round 16 of the World Cup in 2014, they received bonuses totaling more than $5 million. The following year, when the women won it all, they received less than $2 million. And overnight, U.S. Soccer released a statement pointing out that the women's national team reached a collective bargaining agreement with the organization 2 years ago.
So now just looking at this does look unfair. This looks like unequal pay, but it's only part of the story. See, the women also get employee benefits from U.S. Soccer that the men don't get. What are the employee benefits that the women's national team gets that the men's national team does not? First, they get 20 players at a base salary of $100,000. Then they also get 11 more players with the base salary of $62,000 to $67,000 who play in the National Women's Soccer League. They also get a one-time signing bonus of $230,000. They also get ticket revenue sharing of $150 per ticket at the events. They get $5,000 bonuses for first place in the She Believes tournament or at the Four Nations tournament. They also get severance benefits, injury protection, health benefits, dental benefits, vision insurance, pregnancy pay, guaranteed rest time, childcare assistance, partnership bonuses tied to increased viewership. They get annual payments for use of their player likenesses, and U.S. Soccer makes a good faith effort to have a minimum number of games. And the women's team are offered $250,000 to $350,000 for a post-World Cup tour. Remember, none of this is offered to the men. So this chart looks a little deceptive. So instead of this chart, let me lay it out so you can actually see what the women get versus what the men get. And this is it.
Look at that. Bro, they can cover the distance if they have a post-World Cup tour, bro.
Men in general, just boys in general. Like, there is no, like, oh, I like soccer, but I also like this, I also like that. It's like, no,
Yeah,
I love soccer.
soccer.
Like, I'm all in on soccer. Whereas with a woman, it's like, yeah, I like playing soccer, but I also want to have my dental benefits. I also want to have my health benefits. You know what I'm saying? I also want to be protected when in case I'm injured or in case I get pregnant, you know, because they have other things in mind that they're focusing on.
These were the headlines. U.S. Women's National Team CB, a victory for all American women's soccer players, not just the best ones. Women's soccer scores higher pay, better conditions, and new labor agreement. An important step, U.S. women's soccer team reaches new labor deal. ESPN reports that Megan Rapinoe said at the time, "I am incredibly proud of this team and the commitment we have shown through this entire process. While I think there's still much progress to be made for us and for women more broadly, I think the Women's National Team Players Association should be very proud of this deal and feel empowered moving forward." So it was shocking that 2 years later, after agreeing to this deal, the women's U.S. soccer team sued for gender discrimination. U.S. Women's National Team sues soccer's governing body for gender discrimination on International Women's Day. So the women's national team agreed to this deal, rejected the men's deal, and then sued for the men's deal. So what was the women's national team?
I gotta pause it right there.
Yeah.
That's like you know, it's gonna be so like coincidental, right? It's like you said earlier, the irony of it being on the same day as Women's Day.
Initially, they went into the contract thinking this makes perfect sense, and that's what Megan Rapinoe just said. Like, oh, I'm very excited. I think the women should be proud of the decision that they made, because to them, in the moment, it just seems like the best choice. But now they're looking back in hindsight and they're thinking, damn.
They play for security, not to like win all the way.
You're playing
the consequence of losing all the way.
You're playing to survive, not to thrive.
And to survive, not to thrive. Exactly.
And then when they thrive and they realize that
they could have won even more.
You weren't playing to be a winner. You weren't signing a contract thinking as a winner. You were signing a contract thinking as a, let me just be safe. And now that you are a winner, you're like, oh shoot, let me just change things up and play like a winner again. What if you start losing again? Are you gonna change the contract again and be like, oh, let's play it safe again? It's like, come on, pick some things. Stick to it.
Pick something. There is only equality until they start losing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, their argument was the bonus schedules were different. And because these bonus schedules favored the men's national team, for instance, if they win the World Cup, they would have made more if they were under the men's deal. They were being discriminated against as women, and this discrimination was illegal. Now, you would think the women would have been asking simply for the men's deal, like this. Essentially, the same pay-to-play structure as the men's deal, right? You get all the money without any of the benefits. But you would be wrong. The women weren't asking for the men's deal. They were asking for this. They were asking for the same money as the men, but also keeping the same benefits that they already have. And they went to court and sued. Here is what the court said about the women asking to be paid not equal to the men, but more than the men. This approach merely comparing what each team would have made under the other team's CBA. It is untenable in this case because it ignores the reality that the men's national team and the women's national team bargained for different agreements which reflect different preferences, and that the women's national team explicitly rejected the terms they now seek to retroactively impose on themselves. The first time the women's national team requested bonuses equivalent to those received by the men's national team was in January 2016. The United States Soccer Federation rejected that proposal, however, because the women's national team was not asking for a pay-to-play agreement similar to the men's national team. Instead, it was asking for all the upsides of the men's national team CBA, namely higher bonuses, without any of the drawbacks, no base salary. In May 2016, the United States Soccer Federation offered the women's national team a pay-to-play proposal similar to the men's national team CBA, but the women's national team rejected it, preferring an agreement that involves some elements of guaranteed compensation. So what did this look like in actual salary? So come to find out, the women actually earned more money than the men in total pay, but also on a per game basis. The men's national team are actually the ones being underpaid based on the numbers. And one of the more interesting pieces about this is if the teams switch contracts, the women's national team would have gotten paid more under the men's deal, but the men's national team would have also been paid more under the women's deal.
So it wouldn't be discrimination, because if the men knew exactly what it is that they were doing, they would have picked a better deal if that was the intent to discriminate.
It's like that one thing. It was like on Gordon Ramsay's show.
She only won because I lost. That's not a winner.
I want the full victory, as if like they want their cake and to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
In total, you're up. Like, you're winning in pay rate, you're winning in aggregate pay, and you're winning in terms of the fact that you won the championship. Men, we haven't done any of that. And in 2020, the COVID season, we didn't play anything, so we made $0. So in total, y'all are just winning. And yet, you have the audacity to file for gender discrimination lawsuit, as if that is even closely justified. If anything, we should be filing for gender discrimination lawsuit. Like, what's going on?
They want to be able to know if they will win or if they will lose. So in that way, they can pick the proper contract they need to have optimal results.
They want to see the future.
They want to see the future. That's what they want, to optimize their earnings. With like
everybody wants to optimize their earnings, bro. Everybody wants to optimize their earnings. Like, you can't. I don't know what to say about that, bro.
Imagine you took that power into the stocks. I invested into the wrong stocks, and now I'm down bad. I want to sue for gender discrimination.
Yo, I didn't invest in Bitcoin back in 2012. So honestly, man, I blame systemic racism. It's all of that, man.
Bro. It's all of that. Give me my money. I deserve it.
Oh.
They took the big W, bro, and they walked out with a frown on their face, bro. How do you do that?
How are you mad after you won the World Cup? You won the World Cup.
World Cup.
How you gonna be complaining?
You're the best team in the world, and you're not happy with that, bro.
Bro, that's how you know. There ain't no way you could ever make a girl happy, bro.
They won the World Cup and they're still salty.
She could win the entire world. You could give her the whole run and she'll still say something.
How does that sound for real, bro? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, let's take a moment to pause. Imagine me. Imagine I went with my team to, like, Berlin. And then we won all the qualifiers, all the semifinals. We went to the finals. Boom, we won that, right? Valorant championships, bro. Imagine we won that. I wouldn't know how to feel, bro. I don't care about the money at that point.
Facts.
I'm the best. You do your little dance and
bro.
Carry on your business.
Like, you can stunt on the men. That's cool. You could be like, oh, we're better than the men because we won. Like, we gonna let you have
more
that.
money off of advertisements because they won
Seriously,
the World Cup,
bro.
if they want their money back. Like, what do you
there's
want?
many ways to go about it. Nate the Lawyer and the Poor Man's Podcast is coming on Flaketalk. very soon. We're going to be interviewing them. We're going to be asking them questions about this women's soccer thing, and we're going to hear what they have to say. So you guys tune in, subscribe, turn the notification bell so that you know not to miss it, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.